Now I am going to start magnetostatics. So till now we have studied about electrostatics. Static means at rest. Electrostatic charges are at a rest. If the charges are not moving, there is no magnetic field exist. If the charges are moving, then there is an existence of magnetic field. So if a current carrying conductor is there, then there will be a magnetic field surrounded. There will be a magnetic field surrounded. So I can say that a current carrying conductor is always surrounded by a magnetic field. Okay. So if the current is a DC current, steady current, then the magnetic field produced is also a DC current. So what is magnetic field? Magnetic field is nothing but the region around a magnet with which the influence of the magnet can be experienced is a magnetic field. So here we have to consider a permanent magnet having north and south poles, and always the field lines, magnetic lines of force are always coming from north and terminated at the south pole. And we can say that here magnetic monopoles does not exist. Only north pole, only south pole does not exist. The lines of force are starting at one point means it should be terminating at another point. So magnetic monopoles does not exist. So here magnetic field due to current carrying conductor. So here I am considering a straight conductor carrying a current from upside to downside. So if a current carrying conductor is there, then definitely there will exist a magnetic field. A magnetic field is always in the form of concentric circle, and these concentric circles are surrounded. Okay, so this conductor is surrounded by a magnetic field, and the magnetic field is always in the form of concentric circles, and the direction of this magnetic field is always depending upon the direction of current. The current is flowing from upside to downside, then the magnetic field, the lines of force are always in clockwise direction. The current is moving from downside to upside, then the magnetic field lines are in clockwise direction. Or simply to know the magnetic field directions, if I know the current carrying conductor and the direction of current is also I know. So how to know the direction of these concentric circles? How to know the direction of this magnetic field? By using right hand thumb rule. And next we are entering into the definitions. Magnetic field intensity. Like electric field intensity E, I am having magnetic field intensity B. Like electric flux density D, I am having magnetic flux density B. Intensities ED in electrostatics, HB in magnetostatics. And we know the relation D is equal to epsilon E. Epsilon is permittivity, and here B is equal to mu H. Mu is a permeability. So in the magnetostatics, whatever the definitions and whatever the derivations we come across, the same definitions and derivations we have to see. We will see in magnetostatics. And whatever the laws we were followed in electrostatics, the same laws we are going to see in magnetostatics also. Okay. So here the units of permittivity we know farads per meter, and the units of mu are Henry per meter. So like Coulomb's law, we are having Biot-Savart's law. Coulomb's law, we know that Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. R is the distance between the two point charges. So like that, Coulomb's law in electrostatics, I am having Biot-Savart's law in magnetostatics. Okay, so consider a current carrying conductor, and the current carrying by the conductor is, I am assuming I. So if the current is direct current, no alternating current, then there will be a steady magnetic field produced around this conductor. Okay, so here I am considering differential length element dl, and I want to calculate the magnetic field at a point P at a distance of r from element to the point P, and theta is an angle made by this current element and a point P. You can consider the differential, this is dl and this is idl, okay, because the differential length is carrying the current I, so definitely it should be multiplied with a I. Theta is an angle between this current element and the line joining the current element and a point P, okay. So what is the statement of this Biot-Savart's law? So this is stating that the magnetic field intensity, the differential amount of magnetic field intensity produced at a point P is directly proportional to the product of the current I and differential element dl, I into dl, and it is a sine of angle between the element and line joining the point P, that is sine theta, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, same in Coulomb's law, that is r square. So differential amount of magnetic field intensity due to differential amount of length, ideal sine theta by r square. So if I remove the proportionality constant, I can write it as a k is nothing but 1 by 4 pi. So dh can be written as ideal sine theta by 4 pi r square. So this can be written in vector form. In vector form means I will write ideal cross ar by 4 pi r square. So why I am writing this cross product? Because there is a sine of angle between them, okay, and where the sine of angle between them, where theta lying, theta is a angle between current element and a line joining current element and P, that is nothing but r distance, okay. So here angle between ideal and r, and here I am writing a r is a unit vector in the direction of distance from element to point P. So I am writing here ideal cross AR divided by 4 pi r square. Unit vector definition is nothing but vector by its magnitude, vector by its magnitude. I am writing, so ideal into r by 4 pi r cube, because already I am having r square, AR is nothing but in the bottom I am also having one more r, so r square into r will give us r cube, and the units are ampere per meter. So here I got only dH, but to get the total magnetic field intensity I have to do the integration over total length. So that's why I have to consider line integration L. But why I am considering closed integral? Closed integral is nothing but it is ensuring that I am considering all differential length elements, and also I can say that the current always will flow in a closed loop. That's why I am considering closed L, okay. So this is about Biot-Savart's law. So next, this is a derivation, applications of Biot-Savart's law. So here I want to calculate a H due to infinitely long straight conductor. So already we read the applications of Coulomb's law. We already calculated electric field intensity due to infinitely long straight conductor due to sheet of charge, infinite sheet of charge, due to circle, current carrying circle. Okay, like that we have to calculate E due to infinitely long straight conductor. Whatever we did the derivation in the electrostatics, the same procedure. Here we have to consider a infinitely long straight conductor in the z direction, it is y direction, and it is x direction. This is origin, This is a point P I am considering on y-axis, where I want to calculate the magnetic field intensity H. So I am joined, and this is an infinite length conductor. I am considering differential length element here, and this is a point 1. So here to here I am joining a line, and capital R 1 2, because from 1 to point 2 it is moving. So R12 is a distance between point 1 and point 2, and small r is a distance between origin and point 2, like this. So I want to calculate the magnetic field intensity at a point P2 due to the infinitely long straight conductor along z-axis. Okay, so here IDL. What is IDL? DL is nothing but differential length. And which direction is there? Our conductor is along z direction. So I am writing dz az. Okay. So here, what is R12? From the diagram, I am redrawing this diagram. Minus z az, because z direction is in this direction, and minus z will be from upside to downside, and small r in this direction, and capital R12 will be in this direction. If I want to move from point 1 to point 2, I can directly move like this, or I can move from 1 to origin and origin to point 2. That is minus z az direction plus small r ar direction. So R12 is nothing but minus z az plus r ar. Or you can consider the right angle triangle. This one is equal to this one plus this one, square root of Pythagoras theorem. So I calculate the modulus. So unit vector is nothing but vector by its magnitude. Vector is nothing but RAR minus ZAZ by magnitude is nothing but square root of Z square plus R square. Okay. So according to the Biot-Savart's law, we have to, what is the formula? IDL cross product AR12 by 4 pi R12 square. So we have to calculate cross product of DL and AR12. So already we know that AR12 is nothing but R12 by magnitude of R12. DL cross product. How to do the cross product? So because it is an infinitely long straight conductor, we have to consider cylindrical coordinate system. So this is AR, A5, AZ, and a differential length is only DZ, and these values are equal to 0, only DZ, and AR12 is having the direction along AR direction, AZ direction. Components are R and minus Z. Along pi direction it is 0. If I do the cross product, I will get this one. Okay. So AR12 is nothing but R12 by its magnitude. Magnitude is also present. So here DL cross AR12 is nothing but R dz A5 into this magnitude function. So just substitute, I got this equation. dH is equals to, I will derive now, you will get the clarity. So what is the equation I am having? dH is equals to I dl cross AR12 divided by 4 pi R12 square. So what is dl cross AR12? I got R dz A pi divided by 4 pi R square plus Z square into square root of R square plus Z square. So if I do, R12 is nothing but, we know that square root of R square plus Z square, because AR12 is nothing but magnet function by its magnitude. So here this R12 is nothing but magnitude only. Okay. So here IR dz A pi by 4 pi R square plus Z square R12 whole square. So and this is square root of r square plus z square. It is from here. Okay, now the simplification will be like this. I r dz a pi by 4 pi r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. Here I am considering z is equals to r tan theta. If I do the differentiation with respect to theta, dz by d theta is equals to r into secant square theta. So dz is equal to r secant square theta d theta. Next, from here z square is equal to r square tan square theta. Okay, so if I substitute the limits, because it is infinitely long straight conductor, I am having the limits from plus infinity to minus infinity. If I substitute z is equal to plus infinity, what is theta? I'll get theta minus pi by 2 here. Here I'll get theta plus pi by 2. Okay, so here to get total h, we have to do the integration over total length, that is minus infinity to plus infinity dh. But the limits are changing from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 into what is dh? This one, I into r into what is dz? Dz is nothing but r secant square theta d theta divided by 4 pi r square plus what is z? R square tan square theta whole power 3 by 2 into a 5. So here minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 I r square secant square theta d theta divided by 4 pi into, I am taking r square common and power 3 by 2 is there, and 1 plus tan square theta is nothing but secant square theta whole power 3 by 2 into a5. So the here minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 I r square secant square theta d theta divided by 4 pi r cube secant cube theta into a5. So here minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 I by 4 pi into r square secant square theta r cube 1 by secant cube theta. So 1 by secant theta. 1 by secant theta can be written as cos theta d theta a pi. And we have to do the integration in terms of what? In terms of theta. So I by 4 pi cos theta integration is sin theta, having the limits minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So if I do the integration, 1 by r is also there. So I by 4 pi r sin theta integration, okay, cos theta integration sin theta. If I apply the limit, sin pi by 2 minus of minus plus sin pi by 2, 90, 1 plus 1, 2 along a5 direction. So answer will be I by 2 pi r a pi, h is equal to, but b is equal to, we know the relation b is equal to mu into h. So b is equal to mu I by 2 pi r a pi Weber per meter square, and this is ampere per meter. Thank you.